had a studio at my house.
Okay.
You want a water or anything?
Oh, I'd love water.
So I already had all the gear.
Okay.
So I also have Gatorade.
Water's perfect.
I decided to rent it out. That way I don't have to do it in my house.
Yeah.
And yeah, I bought this table
This
on
is
Amazon.
perfect, dude.
Yeah, but I set it up myself pretty much. I had Paul Cyphers like help me unbox, and he made that desk, I think.
Yeah, he's a handy guy.
Yeah, the jack of all trades. Apparently, he made a lot of money in crypto.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I know I've talked to him about like doing different projects
yeah,
and he'll like be all into it and then I just won't hear from
yeah.
you know.
He's a bit of a soy boy.
Mm.
He
Is that right?
lacks motivation.
Oh, okay.
He has no umph.
Yeah, no inner drive.
Yeah, he's kind of a liberal, I guess.
I mean, whatever that I don't even know what that means anymore. You know what I mean? It's like,
Just a softer, kinder person.
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely oh, this sounds great. This is so good.
It's yeah, it's a little loud.
It's a little loud.
Yeah, I have it halfway off. That way we have nice NPR vibes, just not trying to shout, just
So we can
chilling.
just whisper to each other.
Today in Libya.
Tell me what happened in Libya. I'm interested.
Okay, let's keep this improv going.
Let's lean into Libya.
We all know Libya. So yeah, I mean this is the studio. I barely use it.
Oh
I need to
man.
use it more. You can use it if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to use it. I like Josh's studio is right next to Black Rabbit.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
is Black Rabbit.
well, it's we're different. We're two different like
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I rent out my space, he rents out his space.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you have to go through your space to get to his space.
Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of and
He better not piss you off. You could close down his business.
well, he would just tunnel, you know.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, they do that too.
Just don't build a wall. That thing doesn't work
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for his type.
they learned a few things
Yeah.
from the other guys.
Castro? Is that a Mexican last name?
Well, I think people associate with Cuba.
Yeah.
It might be Mexican,
They're so mixed. It's
but
probably both.
he's Cabaza.
Oh, shit. I'm thinking of the other Castro guy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't really know him.
Yeah.
I've seen him around, but I don't really know who that is.
Yeah. There's so many different people from the old Austin scene. Do you ever see those people, or are they like whispers in the wind now?
Well, I started comedy kind of at the time that everybody was moving in. You know what I mean? Like I started during COVID, so
No way.
yeah. So all the guys that were moving in during that time are more the people. Like to me, that's like the old Austin people, even though they're not old Austin at all, right?
Yeah, 4 years ago, like during pandemic comedians versus like the new people that just moved here.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think we're back now to like normal. Like I remember like during COVID, I was like, are we ever gonna recover or do we just see the peak of the American empire? But now I think like we're better than ever.
Like our country or the
Yeah,
comedy
I
scene.
mean, not the climate, but like economically.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
You think we're still feeling the effects?
well, I mean, our credit rating just got downgraded. That's a pretty.
Again?
Oh, well, I mean, it happened in the last month, right?
Did it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
I think they said, and I'm not like super. Oh, nice. I like that. Yeah, confidence on. Yeah, I think when they said when with the tariffs or something, I don't know if that's what did it, but
That didn't help.
yeah, and then the plan rolled out, and it didn't include like tax cuts, and it just looked like our deficit was going to continue to grow.
So that tanked the stock market even more.
Well, I don't even really know it has anything to do with the stock market. It's just our credit rating. It's like our ability to, it's like having a bad credit score, but like as a country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that happened like a while ago and everyone was like, "Oh no, we're not A anymore. We're B."
yeah, that happened like a couple years ago, and I think, God, it might have been 4 or 5 years ago, but I think we pitched a fit and they reversed it, or maybe it just stayed bad. Maybe it's just continuing to get worse.
What are they gonna do? We are the world economy. Like, how can you shit on us like that? That's just rude.
It is pretty rude. I, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a time.
What a time. It is a time.
Yeah, one of many. But we're stuck in it.
No time like the present.
So you started COVID during, or you started comedy during COVID. You stopped your medical practice after Ukraine. Do you just use world events to live your life?
Yeah, pretty much. I just do things based on how dead inside I feel.
I mean, if money is no object, then you just, you do whatever you want to do, which is ideal.
Yeah. I mean, I get so like painfully bored, and that I've been like that my whole life, you know.
Yeah.
I studied engineering, got a degree, and then went into the army doing something completely different. And to me, it's just because I can't imagine being stuck in something that I really don't want to do.
You're afraid of being trapped. You're like claustrophobic.
It's just very uncomfortable for me being bored.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to constantly like feel like excited about what I do.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think that's healthy. If you don't do that, I think you get Alzheimer's and dementia when you get older.
I'm sure that's true. That sounds correct.
I'm just hoping
I'll take your word
there's
for it.
some advantage to our lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have to think overall our lifestyle is pretty unhealthy. Like, it's pretty bad.
In terms of drugs and
Drugs,
mentally,
alcohol,
just a surge of positive approval from comedy.
that constant barrage of, dopamine, I'm craving that like great set. But
Yeah.
but probably the biggest one is just sleep. I mean, I don't my sleep has always been garbage and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah.
It's like how do you go to a show at midnight, have a great experience or intense experience, either good or bad?
And then go to sleep right away.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's like impossible.
Yeah. You don't go to sleep at 6 p.m. right after you get home from work if you have a 9 to 5.
Nah,
You need a little couple of hours just to like fucking
you
figure
do.
your shit out.
Smoke a cigar on the back porch.
Yeah.
Not me, but somebody.
That's the kind of vibe that is necessary.
Yeah, you put on your slippers and your robe. Okay.
Mr. Rogers.
You yell at your wife a little bit, you
Yeah.
scream at your
Throw the
children.
casserole against the wall.
I'd say, what is this crap?
Yeah, I think it's fucked up because at night I'm like, oh, I can just relax. I already did something. And then I wake up at 3 p.m. and I have like no time to do any actual work. And then I go out to shows. And then at like 10, 11, I'm done. I'm like, why should I work right now? It's 11 p.m. So it's like if you don't get up early, it's hard to do stuff, especially because stuff closes at 5 p.m. You have like 3 hours if you wake up at 2 to get shit done.
Yeah. Well, I'm shocked that you were awake this morning. I felt bad texting you back, but I didn't see your text at night because
Oh, yeah.
that's the thing I do now is like as soon as I leave a show, turn off my phone.
Yeah, you're like, don't let the haters tell me how shitty I did today.
Yeah, that's that's why I do it. I don't want to hear the barrage of complaints.
Everyone threatening your life because you said, you know, a joke.
Yeah. But no, it's like it's almost like your whole I don't know what the ideal situation is. Like your whole day needs to shift
Hmm.
or I don't know. Like I'm still trying to figure it out
Yeah.
because I mean, I guess it's probably good if you sleep till 3 p.m. because you get like a good solid 9 hours of sleep or something.
There's nothing like it when you wake up, like, I just took from the day as much as I needed.
But I think we kind of underestimate how much like the physical and mental toll just going out and doing shows is. You know what I mean? Because like,
Hmm.
I mean, because it does feel like work. I mean, it's fun. I like it,
Yeah.
but it's also like because I would do this thing where I would get up early, I would work out, I'd drive to San Antonio, I'd work, do like 20 spinal procedures, come home, drive back to Austin, go do a show, go to another show, come back at midnight. And then I'm like, why am I so tired? You know, and and then I started wearing this stupid watch and it would like beep and alert, like high stress detected. I'm like, why? I'm having fun. Like, this is fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that good for you.
Well, yeah, not if you're doing 20 spinal procedures. And then I feel like it's good if you only do comedy. I
Yeah,
think if you do anything on top of that, that's just,
it's too much.
yeah, it's not
It's not good for the
necessary.
patients, I'll tell you that much.
There's a bunch of people in San Antonio with wonky spines right now because of you had to do a 5 minute set.
Yeah. No comment. I still have a license, so I'm trying to
Damn.
keep it for a bit.
Is that specifically for spine?
I have, well, so you have your your medical license, and then you have to have your board certification. So I have,
Oh,
yeah, a specific board certification for the spinal stuff, and then
nice. It's like
and
a license, driver's license.
kind of like a CDL. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Take the
that's
big rig on
cool.
the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a blue collar spinal surgeon.
Blue collar. Not, I stopped doing, I used to do minor surgeries, but I don't, just injections is basically,
Oh, I need spinal shit. I got like
yeah.
a herniated disc right here. It's
Yeah, you
been torturing me for like 10 years now.
should probably go to a professional.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
talk after.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out of the biz as of last Friday.
Yeah, so you quit your medical practice
Yeah.
after a trip to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you have now that you didn't have before? Do you feel like you have, I mean, you could do like a podcast at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely feel freer.
More rested?
Not yet, because I'm still getting all the junk out of the office building,
You're still working.
Well, not working, like I'm not seeing patients,
Right.
but I have to like logistically, like all the employees are gone, but I have to
Uh-huh.
like get all of my crap out of the building.
Yeah,
You know what
you're
I mean?
doing surgery on your office space,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
which is harder than spinal surgery, I heard.
It's physically harder, yeah. Or yeah. You could just make little movements and
So
spinal.
was this like a Fight Club moment or like a freedom type of thing where you're like, I want my life back?
Well, I had like it was like 4 years ago. I went to work and I was like, man, I hate this. And then I had this like deja vu moment. I was like, man, I'm pretty sure I had the same thought yesterday. And I thought, how easy would it be for me to just come to work every day, say, man, I hate this, and forget and do that for like 20, 30 years.
Hmm.
And so I made a chart. You'd love this. You seem nice. I made a chart of like I guess 3 years. So like 36 by 40, I think. That doesn't check out. But basically 3 years worth of boxes. And so every day I would feel that way. I would fill in
Oh,
the,
like a mood chart?
not more like checking the box.
Hmm.
I would fill in a
Oh,
box.
like I feel shitty today.
Well, it was more just like every day I finished a day of work. It was
Uh,
like, all right, I did something I didn't want to do today. I fill in that box. And I kind of promised myself when I got to the end of the chart, I would quit. Or I would at least reevaluate and be like, do I still want to quit? So I did that and I filled in a box every day. And I was like, still want to quit, still want to quit. And I got down to the last few boxes and I was like, I actually decided to go to Ukraine first,
hmm.
see if I would, I don't know, stir up some feelings again. Yeah.
You're taking your profession on a romantic getaway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I went and I really did have a good time. Like, I mean, professionally a good time. And then but actually, even before I left, I was like, I still want to quit. I was like, I'm going to give myself a week because I was getting near the end of the boxes. So I'm going to give myself 2 weeks actually. And then as soon as I said that, I got so excited about the idea of
It's like
quitting.
when you flip a coin and you're like, I wish it was heads, and then you know what you should have decided.
Yeah. So then by Monday, I started calling people and be like, this is done. Stop scheduling patients. I started laying people off, which was kind of sad.
Oh, yeah. You have a bunch of people that you're responsible for.
Yeah.
I'm sure like it's not like they got fired or something or
No, because I ended up it would end up being like 6 weeks. So most of them found jobs that they actually liked better.
okay. Yeah, I mean that's a good thing, right?
Some of them were so excited to leave, it was kind of hurtful.
Well, so are you, to be fair.
To be fair, but I was trying to hide how excited I was.
They weren't.
No, I was kind of like fake mopey, like, oh guys, oh, we're
Yeah.
never gonna do this again, But I was like, "God, wait,
Yeah.
But a couple of them didn't even look for jobs. I don't even know what they're
Hell
doing.
yeah.
Yeah. So the ones that worked,
So it seems like to coincide with your comedy, starting comedy when you started doing your checkbox thing.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So that helped. You had like an actual passion that you enjoyed.
I think so. Yeah, I think COVID was kind of like a moment, like, what am I doing? Like
Yeah.
how long am I gonna live this life that I don't really want?
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's kind of like that thing that some people experience where it's like when you get everything you ever wanted and
Mhm.
always asked for, and then you're like, now what? I don't like this at all. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So
Everything that you're taught you should want.
yeah.
So is that how you were like, okay, to be a doctor, that's a good job. Was it like what society told you to do kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I think with the doctor stuff, part of it was I think that is a part of it, but I was in the army at the time, and I didn't want to go start working right away. And I was like, I was like, I kind of like basic science. I was like, this is cool. I'll be in school for like 4 years. I like studying that kind of stuff. But yeah, there definitely was that part of it. Like, I'm not going to go do something, you know, there's always the ego part, right?
Hmm.
Like, you know, I remember actually thinking, I don't want to go out in society and, just be everybody look down on me. Cause that's how it kind of felt like in the army, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like a motivator to be like a not a loser.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest. Yeah, because like now I like to think that I am aware of that more, so I don't make decisions that are like ego driven that are going to not make me happy. But I
Hmm.
do specifically remember, like, well, if I'm a doctor, at least I'll have like a place in society,
Yeah.
where it's not like,
Nobody can yell at me.
yeah, it turns out they can.
Well, not for the same reasons.
Yeah, right,
Like a vagrant gets yelled at.
right. Yeah, and that's a lot of the army stuff. It's just in the army, you just pretend to be angry all the time. That's like part of the whole act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dominant emotion.
Yeah, it's highly valued anger, righteous anger.
Yeah. That's not healthy.
Mm,
It's better to do comedy where at least it's like goofy and like detached from reality, but at least you're in a good mood.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's actually a lot of kind of, people talk about mindfulness and that kind of thing. It's like, well, being present and being in the moment and like being joyful and fearless is all kind of really good things for comedy,
Hmm.
right? So it's kind of cool that you're in a profession that being all these good things helps you. Right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's with any art form, like music, it helps. I mean, comedy is a relatively new art form.
Yeah.
So who knows what the long-term effects of this is. But it seems like very self-reflective and like very like philosophical. Like you have to get down to the deep root of what is funny, what you think is funny and stuff. So I think it's like, the peak of finding yourself in art forms because like music, like yeah, you can play the scales and you're good at fingering the violin or whatever. But comedy, it's like your voice, your thoughts. It's more direct into what a person is. So, I mean, I wonder what other art form is going to exist in 100 years. Like the UFC came in and dominated all other sports. I mean, not completely, but it was like a new thing. Like, I wonder if like there's going to be like stand-up tragedy next where people just try to make you cry.
Hmm.
But I don't know.
Isn't that crowd work? It's the crowd work clips is stand up tragedy.
Yeah, I guess so. It's painful.
Maybe it's because everybody is just craving a real, authentic experience because all this AI generated stuff. That's why they like the crowd work. It's like somebody's finally talking to me. This feels real.
Yeah. It's just, I don't think it's the best to focus on one emotion or mood, like comedy, and be like, I'm gonna be good at, being happy. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think that's the healthiest way to live. And, it's bad
No.
in battle or war.
Yeah. There's a Bill Murray quote. I think it was from I think there's a book or something somebody showed me, and he was like, but he was talking about performing, and he was like, to do this, you need to be as relaxed as possible. He's
Hmm.
like, so why wouldn't you want to be in a profession that required you to be as relaxed as possible? You know,
Yeah.
so not necessarily happy, but sort of,
Like a masseuse.
yeah, an angry minister. Yeah, that's true. Do you think masseuses are relaxed though, or do you think they're just like secretly hating you?
I would hate, I mean, I give massages to my girlfriend and it's a slog to get through like 10 minutes. I can't even imagine doing an hour.
No, I don't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems that it's very dependent on the person, and you love your girlfriend, right? Presumably, like,
Yeah.
what if you get
That's what
someone?
I say online.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I do. And yeah, it's like someone I love, but also it's like if I'm getting paid for it and there's a professional environment, then it's better. But if it's like between me just relaxing on the couch or like giving a massage, then it's like I'm less incentivized to do it. But if I'm like preparing for it and like, oh, at this at time I'm gonna do it, then I'd be better. But if it's like, I'll you just bring it on me and I just wanted to sit down and relax, then it can, not motivate me to do it.
well, what if you had to massage some whale of a man, some Texas oil tycoon, which, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And he disrobes, even though you don't ask him to, and he's
you have
got
to
a tiny
touch
little towel.
him
Yeah, and he's like, "Get down there, get in there, boy."
with the cracks.
It'd be hard to relax, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fucking strenuous. You have to be strong
Yeah,
if you
strong
want to do a good
hands.
one. Yeah.
Does it weird you out when somebody like a guy tells you he's a professional masseuse?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. It's like a professional vegan.
Yeah,
It's something
like
like as a
professionally
man.
useless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew this dude, and his wife became a licensed massage therapist, and he would go around, and this was like in medical school, and he'd be like, "Hey, my wife is licensed now. If you need a massage."
It's too close to sex.
Too close, too intimate. I'm like, I
Why is he fucking renting out his wife like that? That's weird.
very weird, very weird.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it'd be great if he was not into it. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, she does massage. Yeah, I'm not really into it. And then you're like, oh, can I get a massage? That'd be kind of hot
Mm,
as long as you don't have a wife or a
right.
girlfriend.
It was a great massage, though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about set and setting too. Like you could have the best masseuse, but if you're not like ready for it, then it's not as good.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. Like if you're like, I don't know, like at a funeral or something, somebody just starts massaging you, and you're like, man, I'm not really into
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so what was the genesis of this Ukraine trip?
Again, it was that feeling dead inside. No, I was bored, and I think, it's like searching for, meaning. I'm not feeling fulfilled in my medical practice for a while because it gotten really niche, and like I said, do spinal injections and been doing the same thing for like 10 years. And yeah, I started, I was reading about Ukraine every day, and I was like, oh, that's something. There's something going on. So
A lot of broken people there.
yeah, I mean, just an opportunity to do something. And I mean, I like doing that kind. I mean, I like, I don't necessarily like helping people. I like, don't get me wrong.
That should be on the bottom of your medical practice. I don't necessarily like helping people.
Well, I just think it's so fake. It's like, well, it's like, well, the people who do those things, they usually are kind of like, there are psychos that do stuff. like in the medical field.
Right, like
Because
fucking like the nurses that kill their patients.
right, yeah. I mean, and it's not that, it's not that distant of a cousin from somebody who's just like, yeah, I like doing these things because they're life and death and they're exciting. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
like the ambulance chaser,
Yeah, or like paramedics, the guys who go out in the what is it called? The life support, the airlift,
the
yeah, the
helicopter.
helicopters that pick up people, carcasses off the road that
Yeah.
still have a heartbeat. But, you know, I just I wanted to go and I thought it was fun. Well, it wasn't like a relaxing vacation, but it was good. I mean, it was like hard traveling, like 4 or 5 days, just to get to the first like village and then long clinics. I think I saw like 35 to 40 patients a day,
Mm.
which is a lot for me. I'm used to seeing like 20 or 15 even. And but at the end of the day, it was like kind of gratifying and you felt like you did meaningful work, so that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like just here, like you fix someone, you're like, oh, I'll go be an influencer. Good luck. But there it's like actual people who
Yeah.
need a farm and shit.
Yeah, well, and there's turds everywhere. And I
Yeah.
actually told the Ukrainian that I was working with as that is funny because there is this like underlying current of like deep sorrow and stuff going on, but there are still people who are rude. Yeah.
You think that it helped them being better people, but it doesn't.
Well, and specifically, I saw more people like that in Kiev because they have doctors in Kiev. Like Kiev is a major city and it's a very, you know, modern city.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them was like, "Oh, you're offering a clinic? Let me see what I can get for free." And so they come down there and it's like, "You don't even have any of my," and I'm like, I actually I actually told the translator because this guy sat down, he was really rude and he was saying stuff like, "Yeah, I've been here before. You guys never have the right medication." And I was like, "All right." I was like, "Translate this exactly. Let him know that this is a charitable organization and that we're volunteering and we're offering the medications for free. And so if he's not satisfied, he's welcome to not come back. There was no requirement for you to be here, sir. Like, go."
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not,
That should be what the world is. Just doing stuff like that. That should be the economy. But now it's just like penny pinching and like, making more money on commission or like trying to get a billionaire to get richer. And it's all this weird little shit that you have to do instead of like actual, if you do actual work in like this economy, like you're probably getting paid like a teacher or like like a construction worker.
mhm.
Like people that actually do stuff like that get paid nothing and they don't get any respect. And then like people that just like, like mail letters or like, do stocks or do sales or some bullshit, then they are the ones that get rewarded. So it's like everyone feels shitty.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not a system based on virtue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it favors people who create things,
Hmm.
and it favors people who are clever and can figure out ways. It's a whole different skill set to make money,
Yeah.
versus to provide good care or quality service or quality product.
Hmm.
But I'm like a fan of like as a doctor or anybody, like just it's sort of like if you're in the service industry, like you don't have to be a punching bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can know exactly where that line is. And I mean, I've said this to, more, quite a few patients where, they're just kind of really negative, really like complaining about specific people in the staff or me. And I would say, well, it's really important to me that you feel like you're getting the best possible care. And right now, I get a sense that you don't feel that way. So I'm going to invite you to go see a colleague of mine, or you don't need to come here anymore. And then they're like, "What? You're firing me?" No, I'm just telling you that you're not happy here. You should go see somebody else. Maybe you'll be happy with them. Because a lot of people, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a barista or whatever. It's like, hey man, you're buying a cup of coffee. That's not an excuse to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, go buy it somewhere else. Nobody else. We're not that desperate for your $1.35. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I think it's like fucked up that so many people feel that way for whatever reason. But yeah, hopefully like our economy works like frictionless, where like our human needs for social connection isn't like a hindrance, but a help, ideally. But I mean, human conversation and interaction is so fickle and like so sensitive. Like anything is wrong, then it's hard to have like a conversation and be polite to people. Like at the airlines.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And I feel like that's especially true because we don't have, our society's not set up in a way where we have kind of deep relationships with our neighbors or our colleagues. And so, like, anything could get taken out of context and be like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shared common myths anymore. Everyone's on their own path. The liberals and the conservatives have completely different ideas of what's going on. So,
Yeah, it's weird. It's not even just different ideas, it's like different realities, right?
yeah,
I
the
mean,
different facts, different websites.
it's like, I try to be informed of both sides, but just by nature of like who I am, I get fed a certain, you know.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's so strange. It's weird. It's like people used to talk about like an awakening and a search for like truth and meaning, and it was a very spiritual, search for truth. But I feel like now the search for truth is very literal. Like it's like literally what is true? Like this is all like I'm seeing two articles that are like reporting the same thing and they're so different. And
Yeah.
and and it's crazy.
Yeah, there's no foundation. And crazy people get even crazier.
Yeah.
At least back in the 90s, everyone had like a common myth that they could share together. And if you could stray off, then that's fine. But I think the people on the edges, now that like things aren't as clear,
Yeah.
they get crazier, like Kanye.
Yeah. I love Kanye's music, though.
Yeah.
I do. I
His
still do.
early stuff.
Yeah. Oh, no, just
Heil Hitler.
no, I didn't hear that one. I don't update my no graduation. What is it? Graduation?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that was a good one. Yeah,
2008.
yeah, 2008. That was me in my prime. 2008. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's wild. It's like I, you don't have any. Well, I mean, I guess this is all comes from like algorithms figuring out that they can get your attention more by spinning you up and telling you things that you're already interested in, right? Or that you're already kind of prone to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Engagement, rage bait.
Yeah.
So, was there like an organization that you found to get into Ukraine, or
Yeah.
okay? So,
Yeah.
how did you find that?
So I went to the Ukraine health ministry, and basically the website was like, "We're swamped. Don't contact us. Like, if you want to help, go through an organization that's already here." And they listed a bunch of them, and so I went through all of them. Like, I sent my stuff to like, I don't know, maybe like 8 of them, and most of them, like Doctors Without Borders, like I could only go over there if I spoke French because
Those fucking French,
yeah,
so elitist, and
yeah.
they don't even have a good country.
Yeah,
Back in the day, it made sense, but now it's like now you're just being stubborn assholes.
Francophiles.
Yeah, what's the use of French in fucking Ukraine?
Well, it's because the surgeons there are French, and I was trying to go over there as an anesthesiologist. Um, but anyway, this group was perfect for me. One, because they're the only ones that got back to me. But then also, like, they go every month, and so you don't have to be there because a lot of the groups wanted you to be there like 3 or 4 months because it's expensive to get over there. But what they do is they send a team out every month. So there's continuity. So you're not just like giving people their treatment and being like, I'll never see you again. Like they can come back every month for follow up. And I only had to be there for 2 weeks. And so it's easier for me to go somewhere 2 weeks than 2 months, obviously.
Yeah.
So
So you flew into Poland?
Yeah, Krakow. Okay.
Yeah, very beautiful people there apparently.
Yeah, it's a great town, medieval town.
Yeah, the ancient. I mean, did it get destroyed during World War II at all?
Probably. But I just did the chat GPT, like, hey, I'm here for like half a day. Tell me where to go. So I was there for like a day, half a day before, or like a day on the way in and a day on the way out. So
Okay, nice.
yeah.
Decompress.
I told chat GPT, like, avoid the shitholes. I don't want to see any more torn shit. Like,
So
just take
you
me.
had like a travel agent through ChatGPT.
Dude, chat GPT is the best. Yeah.
I mean, some of that stuff is like it's pretty common sense, but no one like I wouldn't have the confidence to tell someone that. But it's technically the right answer. Like I tried to plan a trip to Japan.
Yeah.
It's like first do this, do that, do that. It's like yeah, I know that all those things in Japan exist, but to like put it like that, it just takes out all the guesswork and all the emotional hand wringing that you would go through planning shit like that.
Oh yeah, I love it. We did the
Yeah.
same thing when we went to Japan. We were like, "Hey, give me an itinerary." And then it was like, my daughter, runs a lot, and so we wanted to stay in hotels that had a treadmill. I'm like, redo the itinerary, make it with treadmills. And then it was like, redo the itinerary and make it less for little kids because some of it was like, I don't want to go do arts and crafts while we're in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And so we kept refining it and then got a couple different and just kind of picked one.
That's crazy. So you planned your war trip through ChatGPT. I hope that's not how the Ukrainians are fighting the war.
Well, it might be effective. I don't know. But no, I mean that was the whole thing in the Ukraine was really planned out for me. I didn't have to think about
Right.
anything. I just had to show up and be on time and do what they said.
They've
So,
done it before. They
oh yeah, they've been doing it for like 3 years. It's great. It's called Global Care Force. So shout out to Global Care Force. If you're a doctor or nurse, volunteer. If not, just give them money. They take that too.
yeah.
But yeah, no, they're very efficient. So it's like me and another doctor, two nurses. We all had translators, and then somebody working like as a pharmacist to give out the medication. So
Nice. So your first day, you were in Poland, just chilling. Were you jet lagged?
yeah, severely. So you got in Poland, met with the rest of the American team members, kind of had dinner, then had the next morning off, and then in the afternoon, train station into
No,
Ukraine. Yeah.
you don't fly in because you don't want to get shot.
Yeah, you can't fly the commercial airs. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Unless I guess drones. I don't people can't drive drones, right?
Like personally, like
Personal
drive over there?
taxis. Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like expensive.
One day maybe.
Yeah.
But air travel is so scary, especially if there's a war zone. Because
Yeah.
once you're up like 5 stories, you fall, you're fucked.
Yeah, that seems true. Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's all fatal
Oh.
as soon as you get off the ground. But yeah, I mean that's crazy. So you think the airspace around Russia is shut down? Like
I
the
don't
whole?
know.
Because I
I
know
would
they.
assume so. I mean, a bunch of their you heard about that, right?
Yeah,
The drone attack, like destroyed a bunch of their long range bombers. So
but that's just gonna piss him off more.
I don't know.
Russians are just fucking.
You think they're petty like that?
They
You
don't.
think they're
They
gonna
don't
hold a
start.
grudge?
They don't start caring until they lose like 100 million people.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
You
yeah,
just
they
keep
have a
throwing them
crazy
in.
history. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking enemy at the gates or whatever with Jude Law,
Oh, is that like Stalin era?
Stalingrad.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah,
I never saw that movie. Is it good?
one of the better movies.
I think I saw little clips. Is that the one where they hold the little helmet and
Yeah,
then they pew try to
yeah.
shoot it? Yeah.
Sniper battle. It's
Okay.
not very accurate, but it's a good drama, and like I think it captures the Eastern Front because no one ever really talks about the Eastern Front, even though they killed 80% of the Nazis that died.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't, I mean, you said 100 million. There were like millions of Russians that just like froze to death, right? And
Yeah,
yeah.
and the Nazis were fucking brutal to the Russians because they saw them as like, like Asian Hunnic tribe men. Like they didn't see them as human beings.
Oh,
They were the
geez.
Ubermensch. So they were
Wow.
like destroying and, raping.
Huh.
That was apparently a big thing.
Really? That's a
Yeah.
big thing, huh? Apparently, that kind of stuff still happens today.
In Russia,
Yeah.
Ukraine, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, there's stories about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the first thing to go is human decency and like just bunch of young guys out there like risking their life. They're like, I gotta get some pussy before I go.
It seems that is the mindset. Now, the crazy thing is there was somebody was telling me while I was there that the Russians invaded this neighborhood in Kiev, and there we lose audio.
I don't think so. Did you lose audio?
Oh, maybe I was playing with it. What a
Is it
mess.
back?
Yeah, it's back. So yeah, they kind of invaded this neighborhood, and apparently um, there were all these atrocities that were committed. But what happened was the Russians who committed these atrocities took the victims' cell phones and started calling, their girlfriends and stuff because they didn't have cell phones. They started calling their family back from Russia. So then the Ukrainians were able to get the phone records and figure out exactly who they are.
Because they
So
called their family
yeah,
members.
yeah. So that's the thing about that kind of war is there's so many like connections. You know what I mean? It's like us going to war with Oklahoma. It's like, oh, come on, dude. You're not on the other side of the world. Like we'll find you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and like you said, they look the same. There's a
they
lot of
do.
Ukrainians in Russia.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get too comfortable.
A lot of the Ukrainians, most of the Ukrainians speak Russian, although they don't like to now. Yeah.
Is it a similar language?
Um, well, I don't speak either fluently, but like
Hmm.
I think, and I'm gonna massacre this, but like, Russian, they say like privyet, and Ukrainian, it's like privit. And so it's like similar, but it's just
Right.
pronounced different.
It's like French and Italian.
I guess. I mean, I'm not a linguist.
That's weird. I never even knew they had their own language. I thought they all just spoke Russian over there.
No, yeah, they have their own language. And, it's crazy because, like, down in some of the villages that were kind of in the areas that used to be part of the Soviet Union, well, I guess it all used to be part of the Soviet Union, but like, it's like if you speak to them in Ukrainian, they'll speak back in Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like a pride thing or is that just the only thing they know?
I think it's just what they're familiar with and I mean, they probably speak Ukrainian, but I really don't know. That's the whole thing is like for me down there, very bad idea to get into politics with people because you never know, you never know
Yeah.
what they actually think or who they're actually just like with every kind of like patient encounter, it's always like my goal is like to get to the heart of it and get on with it. Like I don't want to get to know you as a person.
Yeah. You're just like a mechanic working on a car.
Well, it's kind of like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
And anything that helps on that end, fine. But when it starts getting into other stuff, it's sort of like, because at some point I got to eat lunch. Like it's like, hey,
Yeah.
this is great, but I definitely don't want to be here all day. Like at some point I want to go to bed, and I'd like to.
It's like a long political discussion that takes a while to get to the bottom of.
I don't want to get into that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Especially as a foreign visitor, you don't want to be like, let me tell you what's really going on here.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be like when you're try doing crowd work and somebody like starts telling you about their cousin who's dead. You're like, okay, nobody asked. Can we move on? I'm trying to tell jokes.
So hopefully they had a psychologist there as well to deal with the mental illnesses.
Yeah, actually, we went into one place and there was a psychologist leaving. She was a part of another organization that goes in and does that. Or I think actually she was Ukrainian. I think she's part of their health ministry. But yeah, I mean that was honestly the hardest thing was because usually when somebody comes to see you, it's right there at the top of the chart why they're there.
Hmm.
It'll say like pain in my knee, you know what I mean, or headache. But I would get things that said, I want to share the pain in my soul. And I'm just like, I have Tylenol. Like, I don't, what am I gonna do with that?
Tylenol for the soul.
Yeah, for the soul. I guess listening is
You should have
Tylenol for the
started an
soul.
open mic there. Get people sharing their thoughts.
I don't think people need to be more suicidal. It's like,
I bombed yesterday and I got bombed today.
don't you find open mics to be like the most depressing thing ever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just hopes and dreams.
I think that's the thing about like, like you have your Kill Tony thing here.
Hmm.
I think one of the things that's like really refreshing about that show is to hear somebody for the first time in their life say, listen, you shouldn't do this. Because no one will say that.
You shouldn't.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not your place.
right.
Of course you're gonna say that. I'm competition to you.
Sure.
If you're an open micer saying that to another open micer.
I don't think anybody should listen when other people says that. But I also feel like when I've heard like Tony Hinchcliffe say it, kind of has a point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't do it as often as people think. It's
No.
just when it happens, it's such a big catharsis for a lot of people watching.
Right. Right.
And people that know that guy, that's like, that guy is hopeless. Like, you see that a lot in comedy where you just see people that don't have the emotional or the intellectual makeup to speak in front of people and be funny. Like, maybe they'd
Right.
be good at, funeral. Like, just they're not bad at public speaking, but it's just,
Well, and if they're doing it as a hobby that brings them joy and helps them, yep, great. But if you're one of these people who like is not supporting your family because you quit your job to pursue your dream of doing something that you have no chance of doing, then it's sort of like, I mean, like, look, I do it, you know what I mean? But like, I'm also like figured out how to get my family in a stable position. Like, I'm like, I'm like, hey, kids, get used to suffering, like I'm gonna pursue my
yeah.
dreams.
You don't need to make a mini Ukraine everywhere you go.
Yeah. You don't need to make your family a war torn, cesspool of suffering. Like,
Yeah,
it's just figure your stuff out, man. You
yeah.
know?
But I think some people are just so much in like uh limbo. They don't know who they are, or they don't know how to navigate the world, that they just latch on to, because it's fun. You love Kill Tony, you love Tony, you love Brian Redband, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, why wouldn't I dedicate my life to this? But with comedy, there's like the other side of the coin, just depression and sadness.
Well, in the work, I mean, it's like if you don't, it's one thing to love the hang with a bunch of other people who are just saying outrageous things, but like if you don't love writing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And trying it out and editing, and you're not, if you're not really into kind of the uh the craftsmanship of it, the craft of comedy, then I don't know, like,
that's 90% of it.
yeah. I mean, then it's sort of like, what are you doing? And again, like if you don't have any responsibilities and you're able to take care of yourself or people who depend on you and it brings you joy and you like it, then great. But if it's really making you so miserable, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure there's I mean, but like thinking back before I started comedy, I'm like, what can I even do? Like,
yeah,
I could just like dig a ditch all day, make a giant ditch or something.
right.
And that's less risky in terms of like, I know I can do it. Like comedy, like there's a lot of like things that you need that will help you, like being good looking and, a lot of different stuff. But, yeah, I think I mean, you can't have a society that's just all comedians. We need that's like a bonus. That's like what we get when we reach the end of subsistence. So like that's a nice bonus to have, but it's not a very necessary job.
I feel like if there is a critical function of comedy, if there is one, I feel it's like being the fungus of the natural world. Like, how like they say like mushrooms and fungi, they like break down materials. It's like comedians break down ideas, right?
Hmm.
So people get stuck in their thoughts, and you get these sort of this group think and these kind of collective ideas come up, and people gradually all believe them. And then you get some comic out there saying, "What?" And then just start roasting it. And
Yeah.
it's like because they're being silly and absurd, people can accept that and listen to it, but then it kind of plants a brain worm that eventually is like, you know what, actually that is kind of that
Yeah.
why you know, like for me, not to get all serious, but like um there was a lot of stuff, and people will hate this, but when Chappelle came out and did his think about like the alphabet people,
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle, then it was sort of like, yeah, these are thoughts that a lot of people have that like you just can't say.
Yeah.
But then by him saying it and making it funny, then people are gradually like, yeah, I mean, do we all have to play along with this? Because it is,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to be compassionate to the gays and trans, but
sure,
it's not like the pinnacle of our civilization,
right,
which is how they try to make it sound.
correct. Yeah.
It's like we can't just all just play with our dicks all day and just be like, "Oh, I'm a girl now." Like there's no like it's very self-centered too.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like it can't always be all about your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to call people what they want to be called. I'm trying to be respectful, but if you look like a dude and sound like a dude and I accidentally say sir, does that really mean that I should be decapitated and like drug around my bloody corpse drug around the town
Yeah.
square? Like,
I think people are mad at liberals for not having a vision for the future. All they're doing is just like, really getting into their own genitalia and their own sexual orientation instead of being like, hey, why don't we like improve, like at least the Republicans have like an idea of what they want the world to look like.
yeah, I mean, I think the thing is like, I would agree with that, but like, you know, there are certain things that I think are real, like imminent threats to our country that need to be addressed. And whether the Republicans are actually able to do that or not, we're not sure yet.
Definitely not.
But at least they're mentioning it, instead of
Mhm.
talking about who's peeing in what bathroom and.
I think like Republicans wish they were living in the 1950s, 60s when we were like invading Latin American countries and extracting all their natural resources. And we just can't do that anymore. It's like we ran out of countries.
Well, I think culturally, yeah, 50s, 60s, they probably maybe 50s, but like I think that there's a lot more people like I think that a lot of people are just in denial of what you just said that actually was happening. Now it's clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was and it still does happen. And you got guys like Rand Paul. Remember Rand Paul?
Yeah.
Ron
Ron
Paul's
Paul's.
dad.
Oh, is it a
Ron
son?
sorry, I meant Ron Paul, the dad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The old one.
Yeah, he used to go to the Republican primaries every year and get like laughed off the stage because he would say stuff like that, like why are we meddling with other countries? Like, why are we doing that? And every year he'd say that and he would get laughed off the stage. He'd get booed. But props to him, like he would come back and say the same thing. And then when Trump ran the first time, he was like the first guy who said anything kind of similar to Ron Paul. He basically just said, invading Iraq was a clusterfuck. Like I don't remember how he said, but he was like,
It's
it
a
was
stupid war.
a stupid war.
Terrible decision.
Yeah, but like he was the first like Republican candidate to be like, yeah, that was
Yeah.
dumb.
And now we just sort of like gloss it. I think we went from being like, oh, that doesn't happen to be like, yeah, that did happen and it was awesome. Like there was no like middle ground between those two.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, yeah, that might have happened. That was,
Do you think people think that was awesome?
like Trump support.
Like, are you talking about like specifically like Sandinistas and like
Yeah.
overthrowing like,
I think if you nailed them down on it, they wouldn't admit it, but it's not like a solid thing in their head. They just like the idea of America kicking ass.
mm, yeah, maybe the war stuff, but I feel like the sneaky getting in there and like overthrowing, and I feel like that was all done for a very specific,
United Fruit Company.
yeah, something like that. And maybe also this idea of, nation building, but I think that's all just a front for. So yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, like we're spreading democracy, but no, you basically just
Extracting.
Yeah, extracting, yeah, it's a good word. Yeah, you're setting it up so that our wealthy guys can go in there and, just take everything they
Yeah.
can.
If
Yeah.
there weren't enough restrictions on pollution here, they could go over there. There's even less over
Oh,
there.
absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'm suspicious of like all these kind of, I was talking about like a lot of charitable organizations and, a lot of government organizations that do charitable things.
USAID,
Yeah.
famous CIA front.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that specifically, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, Elon was going after it for other he didn't want to give like syringes to AIDS victims, but it's also like we use that to like infiltrate countries and then, plant a spy and figure out how to overthrow their leaders and shit.
right. I mean, we just do it to get people into place and get access. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember when I was in the Philippines. So I worked for this is before medical school. I worked for a general, and he was a special operations commander of the Pacific. And one of the things is we would give the Filipinos $25 million every year for security assistance. And what that did was gave us access to their landing strips and things that we need to refuel and stage to go bomb other places.
That's a very specific number. I feel like I'm getting inside information.
Well, I remember this real clearly because part of the thing was it was supposed to be security assistance because part of their military was down in like Zamboanga and Basilan, like these parts in southern Philippines,
Mhm.
and they were fighting the Muslim separatist groups, the Islamic.
ISIS.
Uh, at that time, ISIS wasn't a thing. It was like Al Qaeda backed Abu Sayyaf group.
Okay.
My favorite was the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, the MILFs. But anyway, the point is like they would get the money, but they would never get the equipment because our guys would be down there training with them, and they like still don't have, the barrels are all shot out. And I remember reading in the newspaper, like front page, they arrested like a senator's son because he was shooting sewer rats, and they took a picture of the gun that he was using. It was an M4 with I think it's called a PEC 2. So basically, it was the same assault rifle that we use,
Hmm.
right? With the same sights and the same night vision and the pistol grip configured exactly the way we would use them. And it was like clear to me that um, our money that goes there just it
Corruption.
yeah, I mean it just disappears. And I think that's kind of the thing that they're trying to nail down on is like, where is all this money going?
Yeah.
But you can fix all those leaks, but then if you cut taxes, it's like we're still not going to balance the deficit. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, what are we actually doing?
Yeah. We just don't want to tax the fucking wealthy,
I don't
the
know.
precious billionaires.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
I think yeah, like the corrupt politicians in the Philippines, like we want them there. If we don't have a corrupt guy in there, they're gonna make the country better and they're gonna kick us out. So the fact that they're corrupt is part of the agreement.
part of the grift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's also just like, hey, we got what we want. You do what you want with the money. We don't real because we don't really care about the cause.
Yeah.
We just care about getting what we want, which is the
Right.
access. The
It's like, hey, we gave you money. Why are you complaining? But it all goes to like, that's so common in those third. I mean, there's going to be one guy out there that's going to fuck over everyone else and just have $1 billion.
It's the same everywhere, right? It's just
Yeah,
sort of human nature.
yeah,
Just
even
there's
if 100 guys are good and one guy is bad, it's still going to turn into that if you have like an outside force funneling money into a country.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like easy come, easy go, right? All that money goes out the door. What do they figure out? They said like in the last, what was it, like 73 days before Biden left office, there was like $63 billion of loans that went out to energy companies with like no documentation. Did you see that?
No, I
I was
didn't
thinking
see
like
that.
I think it was like the Daily Mail this morning or something.
Oh shit.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's our money. There's a giant pool of it. They get to decide where to put it.
yeah,
Now they're all like super millionaires
yeah.
with all their speaking engagements.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, I think people were freaking out over Trump too, where they were like, "Oh shit, he's coming into office. Let's make sure this company doesn't die."
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm sure there's some of that. I mean, but I think it's also kind of like there can be some of that that's valid, but I think there's a lot of it that just like, all right, it's free for all, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Biden is like the worst in that department. I think Trump would have done that if he was competent enough to. The first term where he got kicked out, he just was too busy arguing about the election to
Yeah.
fucking, fully grift. But this time around, I bet he's gonna fucking clean house before he leaves.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the thing about, I don't really think that it was Biden, because Biden
I
really
don't
doesn't
know.
seem like he was so sick or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what is he gonna do with all that money?
No, I don't think he was really in on it. I think it's just people,
Those Democratic, like
they're just people.
pencil pushers.
Yeah. I mean, Democratic or not, I mean, people have just been in the system for so long,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's also they're like, fuck these people. They voted for Trump. Let me just give all the money away.
Who knows? I don't know.
So what do you think about Luigi Mangione? Are you afraid that he's going to come after your colleagues in the medical industry?
It's sad that it's so weird that in a way it's sort of like, all right, murder, okay, sure, but like what happened now? Well, before that, one of the health carriers, and I'm not sure that it was United, but one of the health carriers said that we're going to stop covering
I
anesthesia.
heard about that.
Yeah. We're only going to cover it for like an hour or two. And if the surgery goes beyond that, we're not going to cover it. So, like, can you imagine? Like, what are you going to do? The surgeon, I mean, surgery is like, you don't know what's going to happen. You might, there might be a torn vessel that you need to take an extra 30 minutes to suture up. Like, so what are you going to do with that?
You wake up with a debt and you're like, you should have just fucking
Yeah.
woke me up. I could have dealt with the pain for 30 minutes to save $40,000.
Or the anesthesiologist, like, well, shit, I'm not going to get paid. Like, I know this patient's not going to be able to pay me. I'm like, I'm going to send somebody else in here. Like, but the point is that guy got shot, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, maybe we'll pull some on that. It's sort of
Yeah.
like, I'm not saying that it's good that anybody got murdered, but I am saying sometimes it's nice to attach consequences with cunty behavior. And there's definitely lots of cunty behavior going on.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean, they're so coddled. Like if they were the cartel and they had to do this kind of stuff, there'd be gang wars all over. But now that they're like the special, oh, this is the industry, don't it? Like they have the backing of the U.S. government to help them, and they grow soft.
Yeah. Well, and they have the insurance industry has built-in layers to keep you from being able to reach them, right?
Wow, that makes me just more in awe of Luigi. He just cut right through all that red tape.
Got to the source. I mean, like I had a friend who he's a urologist, okay?
Pee
So
doctor,
yeah, penises, yeah,
P
mostly. And
penis.
yeah, penis and urethras, I guess. I don't know. He's a urologist. So he was having a problem like all doctors do with insurance companies, and they do this intentionally. They withhold payment or they go back and they take payment back or they deny treatment to somebody and then they make it extremely difficult to get somebody on the phone. And what they're hoping is that you'll just give up and that you then just won't do the treatment. Like it's the inefficiency is built into the plan.
They're using it to
Yes.
save money.
They're using the long wait times on the phone and to hit here to transfer here and then hit here to get transferred here. And then you leave a message and then they never call you back. That's all by design.
So the
Nobody's
phone tree was a blessing for them.
nobody's sitting there saying, how can we make it easier for people to contact us so we can address their concerns? Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, this guy, P doctor, who was having a hard time getting a hold of somebody and had some issue with the contract. Well, in San Antonio, the insurance company. There's a big building by the freeway, big name on the sign of this insurance company, and so he just goes there, He goes there and he goes up to the front desk and says, "Hi, I'm Dr. So and so. And I've been having a hard time contacting somebody about, my contract and this and that and this specific thing. Is there somebody, like a person I could talk to?" Lady reaches under the button, presses a button. Security comes out, escorts him away. They were so freaked out.
Oh, wow.
They were acting the way you would expect somebody to act when it's like, "Oh, we've been fucking you over so hard for so long." And
They can't have that physical contact.
no, they know it's dangerous because they know how they're messing with people's lives.
Yeah, they're a bunch of pencil pushers that don't, they're like nerds that like sign people's death. And it's like, you need a couple jocks in there, just scare them into acting right.
Trench coat jocks, with shotgun.
Just giving wedgies and doing swirlies,
Swirlies, yeah.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They're like the whole idea that somebody is sitting up there and saying, "Hey, I know an idea. Here's an idea. If we want to bump our revenue, just stop giving them surgery for cancer. Just make it a little harder to get a hold of us." And anyway, it's so crazy. Did you see the thing where investors, because Mangione, he was a United CEO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I believe it was investors of United came together and are suing.
So,
them, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you
Because
read
they
that,
lost money.
yeah, because basically they're saying like now it's interesting because you have rich, powerful people who are going after, like they're cannibalizing themselves. Before they would have been all about it while they were still getting their return on their investment.
Right.
But now it's like, whoa, 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 you took this too far.
Yeah.
You were killing people. You were letting people die of conditions, like denying them treatment.
And now people know about it. It was cool when no one knew about it.
Yeah, you're financially ruining people for generations, and you got caught.
Yeah.
How incompetent.
That's what they're pissed at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any industry is going to turn into that eventually if that's all their motive is profit. I mean,
Yeah.
the private industry is great, but when it comes to like motivation, it's like you got to be careful. You don't want, death panels.
Yeah, it's just like a pervasive, just cuntiness with money. I like that word, cuntiness. But like even these activist investors, like these funds, they're like, well, but we're hedge managers, but we care, like who Carl Icahn is?
No.
So Carl Icahn is like a billionaire, and his deal was like he got into med school, like quit during his first year, became a billionaire. And he would say he got rich by arbitrage, which is just to say that he bought things
Cheap and sold them expensive.
Yeah. So what this guy's deal was, he's an activist investor now, but his whole career, what he does is he like if he looks at a paper company, and I think he literally did this, and he says, okay, this company makes paper, whatever. But if I buy the company for $1 million and I sell every piece of equipment
Yeah.
and I can get 1,200,000, like 1.2, then I'll do that, even though it destroys everybody's jobs. So that's how he started. And then he started this, I think they would call it green mail, where what he would do is he would buy enough shares to get a seat on the board. And then he would just be a massive pain in the ass to the management, the CEO, CFO, to the point that they would buy him out to get him off of the board.
It's like a terrorist.
He was like a terrorist. He was like a corporate terrorist. He would be such a pain in the ass. And what he'd say is, I'm protecting the investors because they need to know that you're doing all these things. But a lot of the stuff that he would accuse them of was just made up.
Yeah.
But then occasionally he was right. The company was doing stuff. But,
So he's just like pillaging the economy and making the world a worse place. And now he's like, oh, I'm giving back.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much shit like that. I feel like we need to like just have the US government be like, we're not going to protect these companies anymore. It's fair. It's open season on these motherfuckers. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if a lot of this is like deregulation or if it's just, I mean, that's the kind of the wild thing is like RFK Jr. was a Democrat, right?
Hmm.
And so like his whole thing was he was railing against how the Republicans deregulated all of these industries, like the FDA being the most notable one, and then you have this sort of incestuous relationship between the organization that's supposed to protect us and the ones who are reaping reward from us, right?
Hmm.
So it's just crazy. He spent his whole career doing that. Now people are like, oh, he's a dumbass Republican, MAGA guy. It's like, nah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's crazy. I think it's just like fundamentally we just don't care about uh, each other and like other people.
Yeah.
But I think that's just like our old programming. Like we're still in the industrial era. We think we could just Andrew Carnegie like the economy, and it's just not that way anymore. We got to be more like IKEA, more like Costco. But yeah, I mean, it's hard
I got to
to
brush up on my Andrew Carnegie history.
robber barons
Yeah.
just, destroying all the competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's hard to compete long term when all these companies have like short term spurts. Like that's how Amazon made all their success. Is like they just spent all the money. They didn't have a profit until recently or something like that because they were all just investing it back into.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Amazon did a lot of, they did a lot of things right, but they also did a lot of and I think they got in trouble for this too, like buying out the small, like they see somebody who's a competitor, they just copy their business model,
yeah,
thank them,
yeah, or
So
flood the market or
yeah, well,
just crazy shit.
exactly, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but I think it's so sad what the internet has turned into. Now it's just like Facebook, Amazon, and Snapchat or whatever. It's like it's like fucking the same as, TV. It's like
right.
ABC, NBC, CBS. It's just like what used to be so awesome, and now it's just like used to like check in on your high school friends and people that are pretending professionally to be your high school friends.
Is that a big problem? Does that happen a lot?
Not like actual like but influencers are like,
Yeah,
yeah, I work out and I have a nice yacht. It's
yeah.
like these people that are pretending that they're in your social group and that you should aspire to be like them.
I think a lot of people, pretend to be happy and fulfilled, and they're not. You know, I think it's pretty common.
I feel like in an environment like that, there should be a guy that's just like, yeah, my life sucks.
Yeah,
Like that would take off, I would feel like, because
I
people are sick of it.
agree, man. I feel like I thought one time maybe I would make a workout video, but like for depressed people, where you just do like 3 reps and then you stop in the middle and you're like, does
Eat a
anybody
cake.
even care about me? So
Remember that none of this matters.
yeah, my dad still doesn't approve. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I feel like the thing with technology is like I feel like there's always been like a hill. Who's the guy that pushes the ball up the hill?
Sisyphus,
Sisyphus.
I think, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Prometheus.
Maybe. That was a good movie though.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
see that one?
Alien. I
Yeah,
got really into it one
it
night.
was good.
I read all the fucking backstory
Yeah,
on YouTube.
yeah. That one will get you.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
prequels were way better than the ones that came after, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all sort of similar though. The alien always wins in the end a little bit. You
Yeah.
think you beat the alien, but then he comes back. But the ones before where they're on that planet and the robot David, is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah. Is that the one where they like kind of look at the pyramid type thing and they go into it and then they
Yeah.
find and they realize the whole thing is like a ship?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
There's the one after that that's pretty good
Oh,
too.
okay. I need to see that one.
Yeah, there's a sequel.
But
Isn't
like
that
the
awesome?
oh,
Your favorite movie has a
yeah,
sequel?
yeah. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, that one is as good too, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, just the idea that I love the idea of it because isn't the idea that we realize that our whole civilization was just like a botched like bioterrorism plan.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, this didn't work, but then their DNA like was the beginning of our primordial stew. So we're just like a weaker, less intelligent version of the.
Yeah.
So good.
That's our existence.
Yeah.
And the robot is doing that same thing that we're doing to them, to us, because we created the robot, David.
Oh, is that in the sequel?
I guess so.
Oh,
Yeah, the
maybe I need to
sequel
see
goes
that.
more into it.
Yeah.
He turns dark.
I wish I could get my kids into that stuff. They still like to watch the movies with happy endings. I'm like,
Yeah, that
no,
one's a little too dark.
yeah, we're all dead. we're we're gonna be extinct soon.
There's no point to our civilization.
But I do feel like, because people talk, I was talking about like the Sisyphus, Sisyphus, but like that hill is becoming like a peak. And it's like you're either going to be on the side where you effectively know how to use all these tools and you can use, technology for building things, or you're going to be a mindless zombie consumer that is basically just biological flesh, to be
Your your pig feed.
pig feet. Yeah, you're the in the little pod like in the Matrix that they're.
Yeah, because some computer's gonna be like, we have no use for you. You are not fulfilling your biological needs. We will just put you in stasis until you can figure your shit out.
Oh, that was creepily good. Yeah, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
so. Yeah, scary though, a little
One
bit.
day. Hopefully, ideally, AI will take over and we'll just be in zoos, human zoos, and we can run around and do whatever we want and aliens can watch us. But there's no point in having humans go to Mars. Like, why? Just send a robot out there. They can do everything we can do and they don't need oxygen.
Here's how I feel about like Elon Musk's ideas. I feel like they're either going to I think it's just part of like natural evolution. I think he's an outlier that's been able to accomplish amazing things. And I think that, Neuralink, going to Mars, those things are worth trying to see if we can, continue human existence, or they're just going to accelerate us towards, you know, I don't know. It's hard for me to look at like the history of the world and be like, well, why are we still going to be around? If we've only been around for 2 million years out of 5 billion, it's like, why, you know, it's like the intelligent species is probably like a blind salamander at Part Springs. It's like it's just
Yeah.
not even begun yet. Like,
Yeah. I mean, biological life, I guess they could engineer some awesome shit, but then there's the robot is just going to be better. They could just add that biology to the robot.
yeah,
So I just don't see the point.
the robot's got to figure out how to internalize its energy, like the way humans and animals figured out, like, okay, we need to absorb this prokaryote mitochondria,
Uh-huh.
and that's our internal fuel source.
Yeah.
Like once AI and computers figure that out,
They're
then
just going to take our spleen and our dick.
yeah, we're probably our mitochondria, and then they'll grow their own sperm and dick.
They're like, this hard drive is amazing, but you should try having a dick.
Yeah. No robot dick. What would that look like? I think they already have them, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dildos.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can just fucking use that as a USB port. They can just port into anything.
Do you ever think that like if you get like a petri dish and you put like a little colony of bacteria in it and you watch it spread and grow, right? It grows exponentially until it gets to the edges of the dish.
Hmm.
And then it's like there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So then they start like just, you know, not
Eating each other.
reproducing.
Oh,
I feel like this is our maybe our self-policing behavior is like to be addicted to AI porn, and you know what I mean? And like
yeah.
and that maybe yeah. So
We don't have any use. Like people, like the incels stuck in their basement all day. They're taking themselves out.
yeah, like maybe that's part of the population, sort of curbing itself, you know?
Yeah. I also think it's just like we create. useless people on purpose. We don't really want smart, educated people. Our education system is shit. You know, minimum wage has not been raised since the 70s. It's like we we don't need this many useless people. This is just a way of preserving wealth and preserving the distribution of wealth.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that probably the education system was designed to create compliant people,
Hmm.
people who obey so that they'll work in the factories
Yeah.
and
You don't
they'll
want a factory worker thinking too hard about
no.
philosophy.
Right. Yeah. And you don't want a factory worker figuring out, well, how could I do this for myself? You know, and do I really need this job? And can I just go,
Or how much is the boss making and he does none of the work? And how much am I making?
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like I mean, how many comedians do you know that just work at a Uber Eats or like some pointless job that's totally wasting their creativity and their potential? And that's like the norm. It's like people aren't really thought of as valuable. They're just thought of as nuisances that need to be shunted off into like dead end jobs to prevent them from doing anything that would affect things actually.
well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you think, like, comedians that work at Uber Eats, do you think, like, what's the alternative? Like, I mean, I guess I'm saying is like, I, if we had maybe an education system that was like, here's how you start something for yourself, you know,
Hmm.
here's when it's good to work for a corporation and here's when it's good to move on because you've gotten everything that you're going to get from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, everyone could have a small business, you know, we could have like construction companies, someone could, but people aren't given the means, or people in my generation aren't given like the means of production. We aren't
yeah,
given the ability to make anything for ourselves. We just have to like be, you know, use our bodies and the cars that we have to
yeah.
shuttle food around.
Well, the scary thing is I agree with you, but I also think that it's easier to do that here than any other country. But I think one of the reasons it doesn't happen here is because people are financially illiterate,
Hmm.
right? Because that's
On
not
purpose, though, that's part of it.
correct. That's part of the thing. Why can't we do that in the curriculum? Like why don't you they teach you about
I
compounding
mean,
interest instead of teaching you how to nail two pieces of plywood together? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
but
that's
I mean, even if you do get money, there's so many giant corporations that like Amazon that will price you out of the market. Like it's not a fair competition. And then if you get rich enough, Facebook, you know, will try to buy you or
well,
something.
there's still plenty of people that start really good businesses. I mean, like Sprinkler. I mean, like in Texas, like you know, I met this guy one time. He just started coming to my house. I don't know his neighbor. He did my neighbor's yard or something.
Hmm.
But I mean, this guy, no formal education, just does a good job fixing sprinkler systems. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he started a business, and he has like 20 or 30 people working for him, and so people still do that, but I think we're so distracted by like social media and and everybody thinks to have a good business, you need to be a crypto platform guy, or you need to, you
We have
know,
no vision. We want to be on the cutting edge of business, but like, what are we? Are we supposed to try to go to Mars? Like, what are we supposed to try to colonize another country? But I think what we should do is just take care of each other for now.
yeah. Well, I think,
That should be cool.
and that's part of the whole culture thing is just like you think that everything has to be, you got to design the next self-driving car. It's like, no, Tesla's, people are already doing that. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot of good businesses that aren't sexy or fancy, that people can do, but they don't even think about it because it's not something that's valued or
yeah.
reinforced or taught.
Americans, we need to be like the coolest, doing the coolest job, having the best car. I went
Yeah.
to like uh, S- Spain, and I went to like a Korean restaurant there.
Yeah.
I was like, these people work at a Korean restaurant in Spain. Like how, I mean, it felt bad, but like how insignificant is their life? And in America, like I think people are afraid of that. They don't want to just do some bullshit. They want to do the biggest, and they want to have importance and significance,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is maybe spoiled.
Yeah. It's the, they all want the status, they're chasing clout,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing. I mean, like, when you meet people who have made businesses and made a lot of money, you know, they're not all like tech people. I mean, there are some tech people, but most of the tech people are not startup guys. They're people who are electrical engineers or computer scientists that work for these big companies, you know. But, you know, it's people who figure out how to make a company doing aftermarket, you know, truck things or, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or
like
like,
the horn blaster guy.
yeah, I don't know who that is, but
He's the guy
probably.
that made a train whistle horn.
Oh, really?
And he has an Instagram. Yeah, he's really funny.
Oh, I should check that out. But like I know a guy who has a business just repairing dents in cars. It's not
Yeah.
sexy, but everybody has dents in their cars.
But I
Like,
mean, if you want to grow that business, you're gonna run into like the mom or the large corporations eventually.
well, but here's a big thing about that is, you know, it- why does everybody feel like they need to scale up their kit business to be a multi-billionaire?
Hmm.
You know, because like when I started my medical practice, I got to the point where people started approaching me about buying my practice. And then it's like, well, I started reading and looking what other people were doing, and I realized what everybody did in my situation was they scaled up. Is they started looking for other locations and and then streamlining it and centralizing and making it more efficient. And, reducing the um, you know
Overhead.
reducing overhead and the and the point is like, oh, okay, great, I can go from this much to this much if everybody. And it's like, but why?
You're risking,
You're risking, there's risk involved, but it's
yeah,
also kind of like it's that thing which like, well,
greed.
yeah, I mean, you get to a point and especially Texas is pretty cheap. You get it to a point where you're like, well, I can live and do what I want to do on this amount,
Yeah.
but everybody feels like they gotta, you know, and it's like, well, you don't.
Everyone wants to be McDonald's,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is such a shallow goal.
yeah,
I'd rather have one nice restaurant, I guess. If I wasn't thinking about money. I mean, it'd be nice to have like 500 million restaurants,
yeah. I
but
like I like McDonald's, by the way.
yeah.
Like, yeah, too. I
Yeah,
don't
but
go
no,
to.
you're not like, oh yeah, I own McDonald's. Like people might be impressed, but if you have like a nice restaurant, like a fancy nice restaurant, then I think that's more usable in your day-to-day life.
I mean, at the end of the day, you do the things to like take care of yourself and your family,
Yeah,
and then once that's taken care of, then it's sort of like, so to me, it's just sort of like how much of enough is enough? Like my somebody like I guess you would call him like my father-in-law twice removed. He's run the general store in a small town in New Hampshire like his whole
hmm,
life. Made a good living doing it.
hmm.
Not like a multimillionaire, but he's lived comfortably in the place that he likes to live with his family nearby. So like what's wrong with
Providing a
that?
service for his community.
Yeah, what's wrong with somebody, you know?
Well, don't you think like a lot of people that used to do that now got pushed out by Amazon and Walmart?
Um I think that's probably true. I think there's a lot of people who make, you know, probably some goods that, they figure out how to make and kind of take that business from them. Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like if Amazon and Walmart can do it more efficiently with less overhead because they're a giant warehouse basically, then should we have all these mom and pop shops just to give these guys like a middle income wage? Like, do we have to have professional stores or can we just let AI take care of it and we just get everything we want all the time?
I don't know. Like, I mean, if we're talking about like people, for employment, like being able to be self-employed, I think there's always going to be a desire to go to the mom and pop shop to get something kind of real and authentic. I mean, it's the same reason like you would want to, go to a stand-up show rather than just watching a corny TV sitcom at home,
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, then we're artificially supporting this business. It's like a fucking Jamestown, like colonial village. It's like, hey, you can go to down to the store. It's like going to a museum at some
yeah.
point in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't deny that there's something really nice about, like, when you want something,
Next
like
day delivery.
yeah. But there is also the thing, like, I don't know, I ordered a deck of cards one time and I was like, all right, I just picked the cheapest one. The deck of cards was like the size of a thimble. You know what I mean? So like sometimes like, if I go to a bookstore, like if I see the book and I like it, I'll buy the book.
Hmm.
I know some people they'll go to the bookstore, they'll look around, they'll spend the day there, they like the ambiance and then they'll find the book they want and then they'll order it on Amazon. They'll be waiting for them when they get home.
That's
So,
hilarious.
yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I think we can have both. I think we should have like stores that you can go into, but it shouldn't be like that many. I think the convenient like going to a store is like yeah, it was nice. Like, shoveling your own driveway is good for you sometimes, but if you have to do it all the time, then it's not as pleasurable.
Right. Yeah. It's nice to have the option of not doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just kind of like, we got into this bad habit of ordering like Uber Eats.
I mean, too.
And then I was like, one day I was like, hey, I get it. Like, we want to eat at home, but like, I can go pick up the food too. Like, like, there's no, especially now that I don't have a job. Like, let me just go pick up the food. It will get here
You
sooner,
can listen to a podcast on the way there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to have a stranger know where you live and get mad at you at how
Right.
much you tipped.
The probability that somebody snuck a finger into one of your egg rolls, like,
Yeah, restapled it, motherfuckers.
ugh,
Yeah, that's like the the entry level job nowadays. It's like anyone can do it.
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're entering people's homes. Like
It,
there should be more requirements.
it is a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to live in a place that was guarded and gated. So there was a gate and then there was a guard. And I can't tell you, it happened like 2 or 3 times in a row where the driver couldn't deliver our food because he didn't have any kind of ID on him. And the guard would require an ID card. You're like, no driver's license, no form of ID. And it's just sort of like, you're driving a car, man. Like,
Yeah. I mean, they can make a lot of money if you just like, hey, I got another one for you to the police, and they just pull him over, or fine him.
oh yeah, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, a little
Poor man.
kickback scheme. Send him to prison.
Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. Like anyone can do it. And it's not like Uber where you have to have like a newer car and you have to have standards. Like you could have like a shit box and like just messy in there as long as you get the food there.
What do you think has a lower standards for doing stand up or Uber Eats? Because you
I
have to
mean,
at least drive a car.
you have
Like,
to speak English in stand up. You have to try to, you will have to want to talk to people. Some of these people, like you get in an Uber, like for people, and they're like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't speak English. Like that's it's like a social cost, I guess.
hmm, I hate it when they talk to me in Uber.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
like a foreigner.
I don't mind, like, "Hey, how you going?" But it's like, pick up a cue, you know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
I'm obviously, like, having my eyes closed or whatever, like, stop trying to talk to me.
Well, sometimes they want to go into philosophy or some shit. Like, what? Where are you going?
Dude,
Aren't we all going somewhere?
that would be torture for me, man. I hate feeling like a captive, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
It's
why
like, why do you have so many like you're an Uber driver? Like,
yeah,
no offense, but your life isn't going great. Like, I don't want to take your advice.
maybe their life is going great, and they just became an Uber driver to connect with people,
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame people for not doing well. I don't think doing well in this economy is like means you're a good person or anything.
Sure.
Like some of the best people are suffering
Yeah.
economically.
Yeah, I don't like getting haircuts anymore because of that. You're stuck there and they're trying to talk to you, and it's just sometimes just like, dude, like I didn't choose you for conversation. I didn't choose you at all. Like you were free when my number was up. Like,
You don't even pick a stylist?
um, I did that thing for a while where I was going to the expensive haircut place so I could have the same person. because I had a bad run of people with like body odor or like really heavy smokers or
So you don't even care about the haircut. To you, it's just the experience.
well, to me, it's just it's like a bodily function. Like I just need to get less hair on my head, you know? But I had this lady, where I had this my dad was in this terrible accident. I had to go to Houston. He was hit by a car. He was in the ICU. It was really bad. And I thought he was going to die. I mean, it was really bad. So I
Mhm.
go to get a haircut, and the lady's like, "So you from Houston?" I'm like, "No, I'm just visiting." "You gonna do anything fun?" "No, not really." "Oh, then why are you here?" "Oh, I'm here because my dad's in the hospital." "Oh, what happened to him?" I'm like, I've been living in the hospital. You know what I mean? This is like
Yeah.
my like 2 hour venture outside of the hospital. I'm like, "Yeah, we got hit by a car." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds terrible. What how we?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this." Like I
And
just
she got a knife against your head.
yeah, I literally be like, I just really don't want to do this. I'm sorry. I just need a few minutes to not think about what,
Yeah.
what
I mean, I will do a conversation for a little bit, but then it's like, why are we talking? Are we just talking because we don't want to just stand here, like, or sit here not talking, or are we actually talking because we have something to say?
yeah. Well, isn't that like a really hello? Isn't that really like a special thing when you find somebody that you're comfortable enough to just, it's cool. We don't have to talk.
Yeah. And it's not weird, and it's not like they resent you.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I love foreigners.
Uh, really?
They're off in their own world.
You think so?
Yeah, they're listening to some crazy music.
I feel like they're secretly thinking about how they hate me, but in their own native tongue,
Yeah.
which makes me more uncomfortable.
Like, do you even know what you did to my country? I mean, I'm Asian, so I get away with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless I go to like, Thailand or something where the Asian minority, they're like the Jews there, they control the banks and shit.
Oh, the ties?
The Chinese
Oh, the
and
Chinese.
in Thailand.
Oh, huh. Yeah, I heard a lot of shady, like international shit happens in Thailand because like lax banking laws.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's like
I've
the
been looking
Cayman
into it.
Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys like you there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we thrive in Thailand.
That's your natural habitat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You got to be careful letting somebody like me loose in Thailand will proliferate. We'll be all over the
We're a
place.
slave colony.
We'll be endemic. Like those trees that just take over. Yeah. Don't let
Yeah.
don't let those seeds out. They'll spread.
There's Thai people hunting white men.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They're invasive.
They're invasive. Yeah, they're in helicopters picking us up. There's another one at a go-go bar.
Just have like a fucking woman in a trap, and you crawl in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, little Thai lady
Or a boy.
or boy or boy. Yeah,
Looks
yeah.
the same over there.
Looks the same kind of anywhere.
That's why they're into them. Should we end it?
Sure, anytime, man.
Yeah, thank you
Well,
for doing it.
before we do, should we just see if we can do like 20 seconds of silence and see how comfortable we are with each other?
Yes. Do we have to look at each other?
That's
I
a
don't
good
think I can
question.
do it.
All right, well, I guess we're not that comfortable.
No.
This is fun, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for doing it
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, great.
You can use the studio too if you don't want to talk to me.
Okay, yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I always feel kind of weird about that because I feel like I should use Josh's, but I also feel like it smells a little bad in there. And I've gotten video that was like